Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. We are the Mile High Property Brothers. Today, one we haven't done in a little while, probably at least over a year, but we're getting some searches on it. We're getting some interest, so let's talk about it. What are we talking about? Denver versus Colorado Springs, pros, cons, cost of living, you name it, we're gonna talk about it.
That's right. Now, this may seem like an obvious video for us to make, but the reason we haven't made it is because a lot of you guys that just reach out to us, you've already made your decision at that point. What I hope this video does for you is out of the gate and hopefully early on in your search, as you're exploring all these different areas, can give you some clear distinctions between the two areas to make that decision that much easier for you. And I think the most important thing to note here is that whether it's Denver or Colorado Springs, we do cover the entire area of both spots.
Correct, and spoiler alert, we're not going to tell you which one's better. We're just going to break it down. But I will say this as a spoiler alert. There is enough difference. You will definitely be more fit for Colorado Springs or for the Denver Metro by the end of this video.
That's right. Now, starting at the most high level, let's talk about what Denver looks like as far as population and location and what Colorado Springs does for the same thing.
Correct. Now, for those of you that don't know, Colorado Springs is directly below Denver by about 2 hours, hour and a half, depending on how north you want to go in Colorado Springs. But if Denver were a clock, like my awesome clock analogy, if you haven't been around for that, bing, here it is. Directly 6 o'clock below Denver, if Denver is in the center of this clock. 90 minutes down, you'll get to about North Colorado Springs. But typically, like the heart of Colorado Springs is closer to maybe 2 hours from Denver.
That's right. And if you are more familiar with our channel, Castle Rock is going to be about the halfway point between...
Halfway?
Yeah, right.
No way.
No.
Castle Rock's 34 minutes from downtown Denver.
Will is correct. Crazy. I concede.
I told you it's been a while since we've
So Castle Rock is going to be at the south side of the Denver metro area,
correct,
right? About 35, 40 minutes south of Denver. And then you're going to have Colorado Springs about an hour south of that.
Correct. Now, more accurately, a lot of folks that decide to move to Castle Rock are folks that do enjoy a lot of what Colorado Springs has to offer. It's just too far of a commute for what they need in the Denver metro. They tend to settle in Castle Pines, Castle Rock. And it is a great fit if about half of what Colorado Springs appeals to you, but for whatever reason, you just have to be closer to Denver Metro, well then Castle Rock and Castle Pines could be a great fit for you. Even parts of Highlands Ranch could be a great fit for you.
Now, first off, let's talk about the biggest difference, and that's going to be population. So Denver is the largest city in Colorado at right around 3 million as far as population. And Colorado Springs is the second largest city at a population of about 750,000. And then fun fact, Aurora is going to be the third largest city at about 350, probably closer to maybe 450 by now.
Right, now you won't feel a ton of population in the Springs. What's nice about, I guess one of the points that is nice about Colorado Springs is everything is somewhat tucked away off of the highway into the hills. You're definitely more in the mountains when you come to Colorado Springs. So as far as like neighborhoods and feeling population, it's not as flat as Aurora. You're not going to feel as much around you. You're not gonna be able to see as much around you. You're gonna be traveling down the highway. You're gonna get off on whatever perspective exit, and then you have to dive into some of those canyons a little bit before you get to like the shopping and the suburban areas. So again, it just doesn't feel as populated. But as you start getting further south into the heart of Colorado Springs, you get around the Air Force Academy, you travel all the way down south through the entirety of it, you'll realize how big it actually is.
Now, one of the biggest differences you're going to realize in addition to just population as you start diving into homes and things like that is the overall cost of living. Now, cost of living overall, when you're factoring in utilities, healthcare, gas, vehicle registration, housing, all of those things, you're looking at a difference of only about 6%, where Denver is going to be 6% higher than Colorado Springs.
Correct.
Now, roughly 15 to 20% of that is going to be in housing. So if housing is the number one thing for you, you will find quite a bit more affordability down in Colorado Springs.
Correct, but making some of that up with the commute. If you guys have to come in and out of like Denver International Airport, there is a Springs Airport. It's not international, so you might still have to commute up to Denver International. So depending on what your lifestyle looks like, you could be spending the remainder of that in your gas or commute.
That's right. Now, as far as the overall feel of each community, I think also worth noting here, whenever I mention Denver, I'm not necessarily talking about the city of Denver. Let's expand a little bit to be like the Denver metro area.
Yeah, I think when we're talking population and you guys hear, you know, a couple of million people, like we are talking city and county of Denver, but now we're gonna start venturing into like some of your suburban areas in and around Denver as well. So we could be talking about Park Hill, we could be talking about Cherry Hills, we could be talking about Highlands Ranch or Parker or Castle Pines. We're gonna kind of encompass everything that's within, I would say, a 35-minute radius to the heart of downtown Denver.
That's right. With Colorado Springs, you are going to have tons of suburban communities, much like you would find in the Denver metro area. You're gonna have a very, very small downtown Colorado Springs area, very small, nowhere near comparable to Denver.
You do have the Broad.
You do have the Broadmoor.
The Broadmoor
That's
is
right.
beautiful. We've been to some real estate events down there. Amazing little spot. Definitely
tea
super
time.
pretty. Some tea time. You can
That's
go
right.
out back, enjoy some food out by the water, but definitely not in downtown Denver.
That's right, that's right. But for the most part, it is gonna feel fairly comparable. Now, any of the suburban areas that you end up picking in Colorado Springs, you're going to have some phenomenal mountain views from pretty much anywhere in the neighborhood. If you can't see it directly out of your house, you know, you turn out your driveway, head down the street, and boom, the mountains are right there in front of you. So you are significantly, I don't know if you're closer to the mountains or if the mountains come closer to you in Colorado Springs.
Ooh, what a statement.
All right.
A few moments later.
I'm still thinking. I don't know.
Right.
Listen, either way, for the sake of you guys watching this video and having other stuff to do with your day, you're completely submerged in the mountains. So whether it's a view of the mountains from the highway during your commute or feeling like you're living in them. But I would say like the west side of the highway, you're definitely right up into the mountains. If you're east of I-25, you've definitely got like some of the rolling hills and the smaller mountains that you can be tucked away in.
Yep.
Either way, I feel significantly more submerged in the mountains down there versus just having a great view of them.
100%. And I think this is one of the biggest trade-offs where you're not gonna have all of the nightlife and dining and things like that you're gonna have up in Denver.
Very little to none.
Yeah, very little to none outside of just your normal, like, you know, Colorado Springs bar, restaurants, things like that. But you are gonna have that much more nature down there.
Correct, you will. Something that Denver Metro has an edge on, if we're speaking specific to mountains, is the mountains as you get more up north in the heart of Denver and then even further north into like the Rocky Mountain National Park are significantly bigger than a lot of your mountain ranges in Colorado Springs. Now, I know they're still really big down there and they're beautiful. They're really green. They're awesome to be around, but I feel like some of the bigger peaks that you get around are directly west of Denver through I-70.
Right.
So proximity-wise, as far as you getting to some of the bigger views, Denver's got some of the bigger ones.
Now, both of these are going to have some very like notable locations that whether you're living in one or the other one, you're definitely going to want to go check out. So for example, if you're down in the Springs, you're going to have no sports teams down there. You're going to be coming
Air Force
up,
Academy.
Yeah, you'll have like the Air Force games, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to be coming up north for like the Broncos, the Rockies, the Avalanche, things like that.
Correct.
Now, vice versa, if you're in Denver, you don't just have Garden of the Gods that you can go and drive to in 20 minutes, right?
No, you do have some great ballets in the Springs. You do have like the Olympic training facilities, so I'm sure you're going to get some of like those things that come around. But as far as like the big teams, Broncos, Nuggets, you name it, things like that, you're definitely not getting those things down south.
Yeah, and this is just a nature lifestyle versus downtown lifestyle sort of thing. So
International city versus just large city within a state. Denver's a very international city. Denver International Airport, obviously, it's now the largest airport, I think, per square foot or per square mile in the entire country. Definitely a bigger international hub that attracts everything.
Yeah, but then, you know, when you've got Garden of the Gods down in Colorado Springs, just
tranquility is peaceful.
Beautiful,
It's definitely a lot more quiet. Now, I will say that some of your suburban areas, like, for example, where I live, gets plenty quiet at night where you can have some peace and it's dark at night and you can go to sleep. But again, a little bit more seclusion when it comes to the Springs.
Now, another big difference here is going to be military. Will already mentioned the Air Force Academy down there, correct?
Yep, very good. And there's also an Army base down there as well.
Okay, there we go. Man, a massive part of the Colorado Springs population of that 750,000 is going to be military focused.
Correct, or just veterans that used to be stationed down there that also love the Springs.
All right, now in terms of jobs and economics, they're going to be very, very similar in terms of unemployment rates. So there isn't a very clear distinction amongst, hey, this place is doing great for unemployment or this place is doing great for unemployment. But I think the biggest separator here is the types of jobs and industry that you're going to find down there. For example, like we mentioned, Colorado Springs has a massive military industrial complex down there. And then you've got tons of healthcare and aerospace down there as well.
Correct.
Up here in Denver, you do have a lot of tech, a lot of startups.
You've got some like contracted companies. You've got Lockheed Martin. You've got some like defense contract companies that might be related to the military, but on the civilian sector. Definitely a lot more of that up here than you would see now.
A lot of finance up here, a lot of energy as well. So whatever occupation you have that's bringing you out here, that could be a big determining factor in which
I would say
place
the
you end
Springs
up.
is a little bit more narrow when it comes to like overall opportunity. You do have some great healthcare down there. You've got some brand new hospitals that provide some employment. But I would say it's still a little bit more bottleneck compared to something as broad as Denver.
Yes. Now, we also have a lot of people moving here from places like Chicago or San Francisco, where public transportation is very much a daily part of life. Now, if that is important to you, Colorado Springs is going to be just off the map completely. Right?
About zero.
Yeah, about zero. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and again, a lot of it has to do with just the terrain that you're in down there as well, and just also like that city like seclusion. If you're looking at some of these like Denver metro areas, Castle Rock has some public transportation, some, very little, but they even petition against connecting themselves to Denver because they don't want public transportation taking people from Denver down into Castle Rock. So you guys can imagine how people feel all the way down into Colorado Springs. I think they've talked about the light rail going all the way down there, or some form of like train system.
They're still talking about it.
But again, like based off of terrain, distance from Denver, and then just type of living that people want to have down there. They don't necessarily want everything that comes with Denver down into Colorado Springs.
That's right. Now, as far as public transportation up in the Denver metro area, you're going to find it very linear on the south side of town. For example, Castle Pines, Lone Tree, Denver Tech Center, all of those places along I-25 are connected via light rail, which will take you all the way to downtown. And then it really isn't until you get to about downtown Denver that you really start seeing some east and west branches break off from there. Correct. But going all the way out to Arvada on the west side and all the way out to the airport on the east side. If that's something that's important to you, then you might really want to focus on
they are focusing on some public transportation to the DIA, correct?
Yeah, it's there already. Yep.
They've got that light rail that connects. Public transportation for Denver is not terrible, but as far as like the light rail system, it's still new, as in like the last 10 to 15 years. So a lot of expansion has not quite happened, but the expansion you have seen that does provide adequate amounts of public transportation, it pretty much traces like your major highways, where people just seem to connect. So if you can get yourself to a major highway, there's some parking hubs there, and then you can commute in, whether it's for recreation of going to a game, or if you're working and you just rather have that commute. Oh, thank you. Take that however you want. I wish there's more public transportation for all of you to have some. It also goes to DIA, and that's nice because not everybody wants to park at DIA. Side note, we do get a little bit of hail here. We've got probably about 2.5 months of like a rain season. Rain season is longer than that, but part of that rain season for about 2 months is hail. And depending on how busy the airport is, if you can't get to covered parking, they have parking on the roof. They have off-site parking, but it's not covered, right?
Correct,
so a lot of times if you're trying to play it safe and you don't necessarily want to spend the money on an Uber, taking public transportation out to the airport is a great option for you.
Now that brings up our next point. Perfect segue. Thank you, Will. To weather.
It's like I've been here.
It's right.
It's like we've been here for a little while. You guys have seen a lot from us these past couple years. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. We've had kids since we've had this YouTube channel.
That's right.
My mother passed away since we've had this channel, and the reach outs that you guys had toward us or toward myself and my family were so kind. I mean, we literally feel like all of you guys are family. And if you are new to this channel, welcome to the family. I guess I should throw a reminder that we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado. And just as much as we love making videos, we'd love more help with those real estate needs.
That's right.
So that number that's popping up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. Whether it's friendship stuff or real estate stuff, we're happy to help. But getting back to our segue.
That's right. That's right. One of the most common questions we get, whether it's Denver versus Fort Collins up north or Denver versus Colorado Springs, is there a major difference in the weather? And the answer is no, not really. Whenever
From Springs to Denver?
Yeah, because we're pretty much directly north and south of each other. And the only time you'll really see big differences in weather is if there's a lot of separation east and west.
Yeah.
If you're going way far out west, yes, you will tend to get more snow. It will tend to stick around a little bit longer. Colorado Springs, they might have series where they happened to get more snow in this snowstorm versus us, but then vice versa. Sometimes we get a bunch more snow and then they don't get as much.
I'm glad you said that because that's where I was leaning. I'm also leaning toward where you will see a little bit of like inclement weather that could be a bother is elevation change. So when you're starting to get south of Castle Rock on I-25 south. So if you guys can imagine my clock again, Denver's in the heart of the clock. If you take 6 o'clock straight south, which is I-25, if you take it far enough south where you're just getting out of Castle Rock, the elevation starts to change enough where the highway starts to drop. Now, it's not necessarily more snow that's happening because of it, but the freeze over and the change in temperatures that create the ice, sometimes it's hard for like road crews to come out and always like take the best care of that, especially when you've got such an elevation change. So every once in a while, once, maybe twice a year for about a day, you could have part of I-25 closed off to coming up north to Castle Rock because of like blizzard conditions or they're too icy. Now, in defense of that, you can also see that up north when it comes to, I know we're not talking Fort Collins today, but if you were to go north of Denver on I-25 out toward Loveland and Fort Collins, you'll get, even though it's a lot flatter, you'll get blizzard level conditions where they close it. And the one thing that does cause that is, as much as we love getting more sunny days in Florida here in Colorado, that also comes with drastic temperature changes where it could be 43, 48 degrees out and not terrible. And then later on, that late afternoon or early evening, it could drop significantly low. We could get a ton of snow and things can start to freeze over very quickly. So it's definitely something that you have to pay attention to. But again, when it comes to just overall snowfall or weather, you're not necessarily getting more. It's more so the commute and the elevation change that becomes an effect for you guys.
Exactly. Now, to wrap this up, let's talk school districts, because this is also one of the most important things that we get. Now, if I had to just put a side-by-side comparison, Denver metro area, not Denver necessarily, but the metro area is going to have a bigger selection of high-ranking school districts.
Correct.
But that might also be because there's just over three times the amount of people here.
It's that, but it's also because you've got a couple of charter schools that are options, and you've also got private schools, right? You've got Christian Valor High School, you've got Regis High School. You do have some options when you are getting closer to the main city of that state, i.e. Denver, right? But overall, Colorado Springs grades super well.
Yeah, Colorado Springs, you do have a couple of good school districts down there. Academy is one of the top ones that comes to mind. But then there's like 5 really good ones in the Denver metro area between Boulder, Littleton School District, Cherry Creek School District, Douglas County, and Jefferson County.
Matter of fact, those grade higher than Denver itself when it comes to the city and county of Denver Public Schools. But again, something to keep in mind, Colorado as a whole grades significantly high as a state when it comes to education. So overall, depending on where you guys would like to fall, typically you can find some great education for your kiddos.
That's right. So to summarize, if you're able to live anywhere, if your top priority is saving money on a home, right? Getting the most bang for your buck, being as close to nature as possible, and having someplace like Garden of the Gods in your backyard, Colorado Springs might be a great option for you, or even military. If you are looking for sports, maybe a more active nightlife style, if you're working in tech, or you really like the hippie Boulder vibes,
just
Denver
more
metro
to
area might be it for you.
I'm trying to figure out a way to say this because I love the Springs for what it is. Me personally, being a father of 3, having my family, being having to travel. Sometimes we teach at real estate conventions, so we're traveling once a month, teaching agents across the country. We're taking kiddos to different places and just the daily ins and outs and things like that. I personally love to commute and travel for a little weekend getaway to Colorado Springs. I love the Broadmoor. I love some of the mountains down there and getting away to a cabin and just enjoying the family. But when it comes to just overall shopability, livability, commute, entertainment, you name it, proximity for clients and things like that, proximity to airport for us. Overall, it's really hard to beat Denver and Denver surrounding areas. And again, it's not because Colorado Springs doesn't have enough to offer. It's because the Denver metro has so much, from Golden to backcountry and Highlands Ranch to Castle Pines to Southeast Road, to Boulder. There's so many options that you guys have that also comes with just more. I tend to feel like Colorado Springs for me personally is just, again, more of a weekend getaway than a place I would like to live. However, I've got some friends that live down there and they've got land. They enjoy some of just a little bit more solitude, a little bit slower lifestyle. They absolutely love it, and it absolutely makes sense why they attract to it. It's just for me and my family, where we're at with in the phase of our life, this is definitely a better fit for us, but can definitely see the attractiveness.
Yeah, but definitely know this is better than that, or don't move here, move here.
There couldn't be more of a, it's preference.
Totally, yeah.
If you guys want to talk Southeast Aurora to Parker, there's going to be some things where we can kind of keep score there. We've done some of those before. But when it comes to like literally Denver metro surrounding area to Springs, no wrong answers, really just preference. And just reminding you guys, if you got questions on that, we've got area guides that we can hand you. We've got some relocation guides as far as like what it would look like to relocate to either one of those areas. You guys can text this number that's below. If you guys have questions, you can call. If you want a text guide, we can get you one of those relocation guides out for you as well. But either way, we are happy to help as your local realtor here and the #1 relocation specialist here in Colorado.
That's right.
But I think for this video and for everything we want to discuss when it comes to the Springs versus Denver Metro, we're there. So you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you guys very soon.
All right, see you guys.